Good morning. Sherry Poe, and I'm a director of a women's transition home. I've never done this before, but I feel like this is so critical. This word today that the Lord gave me over a period of time, beginning with a dream that I had on October the 9th, 2017. I titled it Coming Out of the Cave. I was with a group of people I knew who had gathered together in some area before we went out. We had been preparing, but I wasn't sure what the preparation was until we got to the entrance of a cave. Jesus was with us, but he didn't say anything. As soon as we got to the entrance of the cave opening, I noticed that the doors opened. I felt it was a very large cave with many, many tunnels. And soon the people began streaming out, laughing and seemingly very joyous. I felt as though they were believers. There seemed to be thousands of people running out. And when the dream ended, they were still coming. So for a couple of weeks, I didn't do anything about the dream, although I knew it was sent from God. I really didn't think it was very unusual or deep. I just thought maybe it was captives being set free. But then when I was in prayer, I knew that I was supposed to look up the cave of Adullam, which is where David hid when he was running from Saul in the wilderness. So the story begins in 1 Samuel 22 when David goes to the cave in the wilderness. The word Adullam, and listen to this, means bitter of soul, to darken, to make secret, to turn aside, to retreat, or refuge. Politically, it can mean a small group, remote from power, but planning to return. It also means justice of the people and a sealed off place. David was anointed to be king at age 15, but he didn't actually become king till he was 30. The scripture says that when David went into the cave, he took his family, although later they went to stay with the king of Moab for the rest of the exile. Then the scripture says that other men who were in distress, in debt, and discontented joined David and lived in the cave with him. As Saul threatened David and his men, they were forced to fight and many times prevailed. David inquired of the Lord, and he sought the Lord's plans for his battle strategy. David learned to be king while he was in the cave. He also learned to pray and worship, as some of the Psalms were written from there, for sure, namely Psalm 57 and Psalm 142. As David and his men grew stronger in the Lord and more seasoned as warriors, they began taking more of the enemy's territory. Little by little, the people were set free, and David gained more and more respect. David's men fought with him to establish and stabilize their country. There were times, however, that David was misunderstood. When the enemy attacked, the people blamed him. Finally, Saul and his whole household were killed, and David was proclaimed king. He was finally able to stop running. He then made a covenant with the people. It was time to come out of the cave life. Move forward to September the 12th, 2018, 5 a.m. This was the day of awe before the feast of Yom Kippur. I reread the write-up of the dream I had last October the 9th, 2017, which was also during the high holy days of the Hebrew calendar, where Jesus was with me at the mouth of the cave, watching hundreds of people streaming out as if they were set free. I had done the study on the cave of Adullam, where David and his men stayed while Saul hunted them down. So today I began to turn to my Bible, to 1 Samuel, where the Lord has had me for a while. However, today I turn directly to it, to the scriptures about the cave of Adullam, which is in 1 Samuel 22. So I said, Lord, here I am to hear you. Speak to me. And this is what I heard him say. Donald Trump is my anointed one, and he will not fail, although he will be severely tested in the coming days. War is coming to your country, but it is a war within. The forces coming against your country are formidable, seeking to destroy its very fabric. But there are many, many people who I have hidden away, just as I showed you in the dream, like the cave of Adullam. They will arise and fight for this land that you call America. The battle is coming to a head, and the ones who are and have deceived will also come forth and be identified. There are many, but not as many as my people. So then this is the strategy, the battle strategy that the Lord gave me to go along with these bullet point words that he gave me. As David hid himself away, he inquired of the Lord for his plans. So shall you, my beloved, and my people inquire of me. When the enemy attacked David and his men by kidnapping their families, David inquired and asked for the battle plan to retake his family and the land. The Lord was clear. Pursue and not fail. Recover all. 1 Samuel 30. As David fought against his enemies who had stolen away his and his men's most precious asset, their families, their wives and children, David recovered all. And the victory was shared by all who stayed behind, even those ones that were too weary to even fight the battle. As Saul's kingdom was dismantled and the power structure destroyed before David could take his place, so is the deep structure of your country being destroyed before the new structure can be set in place. This is monumental. Your president is fighting for you and for those who would stand to lose the most. People don't even realize the depths of your president's devotion to this cause, but it will be evident this time next year. 2019 is monumental and will set the course for the future of America. Stand tall, stand firm, stand ready, be a voice of reason that will stand out in the chaos. This hurricane, which happened to be Florence, which hit the East Coast, is a sign of the fury that is ahead. But it will produce a crop of righteous people never before seen in your land. Hold on tight. It's all about to begin. David and his men went into the cave one way, but they came out another. They were battle-hardened, spiritually and mentally strong, trained in warfare and loyal to one another. As iron sharpened iron, they sharpened each other and they rose to the occasion. They knew their God and they knew how to hear from him. They had become the mighty men of valor. As I reflected on this dream and the story of David and his mighty men, I believe it holds prophetic significance for us today. We too have been in preparation with Jesus for a number of years in our own caves of Adullam. We've experienced heartache and illnesses and family dilemmas and financial problems, discontentment, and much distress. We have gone out into battles and we have learned the way of the enemy as we prayed and took ground back We've formed an army of sorts, battle-hardened, spiritually and emotionally strong, loyal and determined, faithful and true. We have been misunderstood at times and attacked by those who have not understood where we have been and what we have been trained to do. So now we, the prepared ones, are coming forth joyous and free, strong in the Lord for the great exploits of the day. Daniel 11:32 says, "Those who do wickedly against the covenant he shall corrupt with flattery, but the people who know their God shall be strong and carry out great exploits." We have been called out by Jesus, who stands as the captain of the army, the mighty people of valor, made ready for this day to heal, to set free, bind up the brokenhearted. This is our time. We have been made for these great exploits. Be encouraged, my friends. We are coming out of the cave. We've gone in one way, but we have come out a totally different people. God bless you.